Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today will be my Game Week 3 team selection. We'll go through my Game Week 2 team, how we're getting on, and some of my transfer plans. We have two transfers to plan ahead. As usual, if you do enjoy the video, hit that like button and subscribe. We're on the route to 10k. Maybe we can get there by the end of the year. That's as usual. If you have no interest in my Game Week 2 team, which I have in front of you, please skip ahead. You're more than welcome to skip to the transfer plans. I'm not trying to waste anyone's time, and by all means, do it. So let's get straight into it. So, like I said, in front of you of the Game Week 2 score. I had three decisions to make in this game week. And FPL kind of restricts how many decisions you can make in a singular game week. But I had three. The first one was captaincy. I had Cole Palmer as captain all week. And of course, he pulled up, and the armband ended up going on Haaland. I'm not even going to explain why I decided to go with Palmer because it's irrelevant now. But decision making was right in my eyes and it went against me. The next decision I had was playing Porro ahead of Esteve. Because of Palmer's injury, Esteve went in instead of Porro. Or Esteve also came on with Porro, for Palmer's place. And we got the points there. So happy days. And the next decision I had to make was either bringing in Reinders for Jorginho Rutter or holding on to Jorginho. I held on to Jorginho. Reinders blanked, and then he got a knock. So that was another loss. So anything that could have went wrong. And the last thing was Bruno Fernandes missing the penalty, which was not great. So there was a game week 2 team, 37 points, one to forget. Still 3.4 million in the world, which is a great rank considering the large audience, if you know what I mean, especially early on. A lot of points to climb. My team does look better for game week 3. So let's get straight into the game week 3 team. So looking at our game week 3 team selection in front of you, I've got the squad. On goal, we've got Robert Sanchez, a 3 at the back, Murillo, Porro, and Nico Williams. 5 in midfield, Cody Gakpo, Bruno Fernandes with the captaincy, Mohamed Kudus, Cole Palmer, and Jorginho Rutter. 2 up top, Watkins and Haaland. And on the bench, we got Dubravka, Esteve, Goodmanson, and Krupi Jr. So I plan on making 2 transfers this week, like I said in the intro of this video. 2 of the players I am looking at, I will display in front of you in just a second. But before I do, let me talk about the team. So overall, I think the team is well set up. I mean, a lot of home fixtures this game week. Again, Cole Palmer and Jorginho Rutter, who are flagged. Spoiler, but they're 2 of the players I'll be looking to get rid of. Very happy with the likes of Cody Gakpo, of course, who has been the star of the show thus far in a disappointing team. Erling Haaland, who blanked last week, another captaincy option. Cole Palmer would have also been high on my list this week if you expect him to be fit. For me, I'm happy to move him on. And Bruno Fernandes, who is likely going to be my captain, even though a poor result versus Grimsby midweek, it doesn't throw me off at all. Personally, I can understand it though. United are poor and morale will be low. But again, key players like Bruno Fernandes only played about 45 minutes. Same with Brian and Buemo. And we'll get into that in the next section. But overall, I really like the team. Hopefully, we get a bit better from the likes of Murillo and Nico Williams, who we've not quite seen DEFCON for yet. So, on that note, let's move straight onto the transfer plans. Apologies for the poor camera quality. Let's get into our transfer plans. Jorginho Rutter to Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer to Brian and Buemo. These are 2 moves that I really fancy for 3 reasons. The first reason is, of course, Jorginho Rutter is a doubt for Brighton, and so is Cole Palmer for Chelsea. Even if these guys were going to play, I think the minutes for this specific game week would be low. It would be 60 to 70. And for me, that's not worth taking. And especially if one of these players miss out, I don't have a bench option. So I'm more than happy to make the double move this week. In their place, Morgan Rogers and Brian Mbeumo. 2 great assets for this game week. And if I pull up a chart from 11 to 5, I believe, you get to see the expected goals for this week for both teams. And it's quite high. I think initially Morgan Rogers might be a surprise to a lot of managers, and especially going Brian Mbeumo over Kuna. But I will give my justification. Secondly, this is largely dependent on chip strategy, and I will discuss that a small bit now. So in game week 4, I think I've settled on hitting my free hit button, and there's a few reasons. The fixtures in game week 4 don't really go my way, with the likes of Forest playing Arsenal and Liverpool playing Burnley and not owning Mo Salah, and also a difficult game for Erling Haaland. It gives me an opportunity to triple up on Liverpool guys versus Burnley, get rid of the United guys for 1 week, and I missed the difficult fixture that some might say Morgan Rogers has with Everton away in game week 4. And I'll have the fixture ticker in front of you. But if you can look past the game week 4 fixture, Chelsea at home for United is not too bad. Brentford away in Buemo's old team in 6, and then of course Sunderland at home in 7. And what about game week 8, where they both have a tough enough fixture as well? That's when I plan to wildcard. So I'm not trying to book in anything by any means. I think these are great options regardless, but I think it looks much better when you account for chip strategy. Next, Brian and Wemo over Mateus Kuna. So I missed the point one rise on Kuna, but that's not the reason because I have more than enough money in the bank to do the move. But for me, I think it's a combination of seeing United versus Grimsby. I'm not trying to read into it too much, but what I'm trying to say is Mbeumo was on the bench and got 45 minutes. He did miss the final penalty, but he did score in open play and scored his first penalty. Mateus Kuna played. He wasn't too good, and he missed his penalty also. So I'm trying to think how United are going to set up, and it's gonna be Embuemo on the right for sure, in my eyes anyway. And it could be one of Benjamin Sesko and Mateus Kuna, likely to be Kuna up top. But now that Sesko is fit, we could see Kuna potentially move to the left and get some reduced minutes. So I think Embuemo is likelier to get more minutes this game week in particular. And again, we won't have these guys versus City, and we'll get him back for the home fixture versus Chelsea. So there are my thoughts on the transfers. Let's get back to the team. So it's currently 7 a.m. and Spurs have just signed Javi Simmons. He's just done his medical. I actually can't believe it, and that's a phenomenal sign for Tottenham. I'm bringing it up because it's relevant, and I think this does definitely 10 million percent strengthen Spurs' attacking line. And anything else for Tottenham's lineup is going to be a bonus. So for me, Mohamed Kudus becomes an even better option. That creativity behind him, especially in the tougher games where he's a ball carrier and very creative. I think he is a perfect fit for Tottenham. I'm really, really interested to see how Frank implements him. You imagine similar to Damsgaard, he'll be all over the place. He is full of energy. So really, really good sign for Tottenham. Again, there's no here we go just yet, but he's done his medical. So, I mean, surely, unless he passes out. But yeah, that's Spurs. And on Spurs, we also have some really, really good fixtures. For those that are looking at a Tottenham asset, I would recommend, I wouldn't sell you Kudus personally because his position is still decent, but he's been very, very good in the opening games as a footballer. Maybe less so as the FPL asset, even with the 2 assists in the first game. I'd like to see a small bit more goal threat, especially for 6.6 million, but definitely doing a phenomenal start to the season, and he's been great, especially with the fixtures come. You'd fancy that fixture with Bournemouth at home, and interestingly enough, Pedro Porro got a price rise last night. So, looking at the broader team, like I said, we have 10 home fixtures this game week. Last week we had 10 away fixtures, and that was quite tough. This week looking much better, and that away fixture being one of the best players in the team, if not the best. So as you can see, going quite bold, doubling up on United. I don't read into that Grimsby game. If anything, they'll want to bounce back straight away. United are poor, let's be real. But you don't mind them in these games versus the lower half. And, that's what I'm targeting, going with this game in game week 3 versus Burnley. Like I said, and also Sunderland and wildcarding them out without a doubt. For me, captaincy, let's talk about it before I actually run through the rest of the team because I already did that. It is close. I have Erling Haaland. A lot of people don't have that privilege to go Haaland or Fernandez, but for me, it is Fernandez. And in game week 0, it's been Fernandez. I knew I was captaining him as soon as I picked him in game week 1. And especially when I went no Salah, I knew I had to pick elsewhere and shop around. But happy to go with Fernandez. Like I said, free hit 4 looks very likely. I don't know many cases where it wouldn't. I think if the only way I could be swayed if is teams like Villa actually do turn around. Bringing in Villa right now is quite controversial, and I agree with that. But I think free hit lets me do something a bit different, where I go see what Villa do versus Palace. Free at 4 if they're poor, and that won't be the determining factor, but it will help the cause. And in game week 5, you're hoping that Villa can turn it around with good fixtures. So I'm happy to own Villa, guys. I don't think they're dead and buried for the season. I think it's far from that. It's just a matter of time until they get running again. And players who are going to be largely involved in the goals are Rodgers and Watkins, so they will have a big season to come regardless. So I quite like the team. Let's hope that the captain doesn't blank again. I think if the captain goes well, I'm happy this game week, and the rest will play out itself. And Wemo is not dead certain. There will be a deadline stream tomorrow, 2 hours before the deadline, of course. So do come and join me. If you have liked the video, do like and subscribe. And as usual, lads, I will see you in the next.